These are the best days of our lives. Let's raise your glasses high. This one's for you tonight.
What's up, everybody? And welcome back to another episode of the SUR Files. I'm your host, Joshie Lopez, and today we're breaking down one of the biggest episodes of the entire season, The Valley, Season 3, Episode 12, Schwartzapalooza. And yeah, they really sent this group to Mexico, because when you combine birthdays, tequila, unresolved trauma, postpartum struggles, relationship tension, and reality TV egos in a resort setting, you don't get a vacation, you get a Bravo pressure cooker. A lot of things to hit on this week's episode. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm in the midst of a little bit of a transition period. For those who are wondering, I like to bring you guys into my personal life, and this week I had to make a very hard decision that I didn't want to make, but I'm going to be moving back to my home in Chicago. I don't have the exact day when, but I'm in the process right now of trying to figure out how I can get back home. This week I spent a lot of time reflecting and thinking about where I've been these past 7 months collectively, just spiritually, emotionally, mentally, just in general with everything. And I'm ready to go back home. And I don't want it to be a sad thing. I think especially this morning as I'm recording this and I woke up today here, it's Friday. It's June 19th, so happy Juneteenth, everybody that celebrates. I'm proud of what I've been able to accomplish down here by just taking a chance and seeing this through and giving this a shot. This is something that I've been wanting for a long time, but a lot of times in life you want certain things and then you get a signal of where you need to make a change in. Some things you want are maybe the things that you don't need. Maybe some things that you want is not what's God's plan for you. I do believe that we all are here for a purpose, and I'm treating this more as a learning experience. It's not a failure. I've been here for 7 months. I've way past the halfway point of my lease. My lease is supposed to end up in November 16th. And the only sad part for myself is that I wasn't able to really enjoy the experience of Florida itself, because really the setbacks already started initially the moment I got down here, because I found out a week after that I moved in that the job that I have for writing articles, the wrestling stuff that I do, they cut my wages off by 35%, my hourly wages. And from that moment there, it's just been a scramble mode of trying to find a second job to supplement what I barely make here, trying to pay off this rent and everything. And, I would get some slight money here and there for the podcast, which did help when it matters most. So I do want to say thank you to the good people at Odyssey who have us on their platform. It really means a lot to me. You guys are checking and listening to this right now. The podcast comes to you free of charge anywhere you get your podcast from. Also, check us out on YouTube. That's a good way to help us out. YouTube.com/the SUR Files. And then on TikTok, our main page, make sure to check that out at SUR Files, SUR Files. So having that setback just started this cavalcade of just my bank account being shredded, and dealing with some circumstances that were out of my control with the job opportunities I thought I was going to get, and then wasn't the case, and stuff like that. And I really tried my best. I exhausted every option I can to make this move a reality, and it just didn't work out, and then also a period where you're sitting in these thoughts by yourself. Again, I have no friends here. I'm on my own. I don't have any family to hang out with, and I do miss a big part of my life back in Chicago. And I had to sit in that reality, and it's like, I made this decision. I went through with it, and I'm proud with that, and nobody can take that away from me. Part of me just hopes that it's not something where people hang it over my head like, oh, hey, you say you wanted to go to Florida and you couldn't even last a year. That's something that's been on my mind on the way back. Like, I don't want that in my head. I already think about it enough within my own vortex. But it's just unfortunate because people like to question your grind and your ethics and stuff like that. It's just like, just because I'm going back to Chicago doesn't mean I'm not going to apply myself to try and find other jobs. I mean, that's all I've been doing for the last 7 months that I've been out here in Florida. It has been trying to find a job. So to say just because I'm going back home doesn't mean I'm just going to sit home and take a deep breath and not do anything. It just sucks for myself personally when people I'm supposed to love like underestimate me and stuff like that, and that just sucks. But that's life for you. You can't make everybody happy. No matter what you do, nothing's good enough. But I don't want to make this too sad and sappy. We got other stuff to talk about here in the podcast today. Speaking of the Valley, they filmed their season 3 reunion yesterday. The seating chart is out there. I know that's a big thing for Bravo fans, so you can see the seating chart on their social media pages if that interests you. Today is definitely with Schwartzapalooza. We're going to get to this cast trip from Mexico, and before that, they had a conversation with Brittany and Kristen that. I don't know, man. I want to give Brittany the benefit of the doubt, and I have to reiterate because I don't want to make things personal with these cast members. This is just a reality TV show. These are human beings, but as much shit as she talks about Jax, and this is gonna give me flack, but I just have to call a spade a spade. We're honest here on the SUR Files. If anybody here on this season of The Valley has been acting like Jax, it's Brittany, because everything, and Jasmine could be up there too, because this whole season she's been trying to insert herself in all these other petty arguments with Lala and Danny and Nia, and still make everything about her. Like you're gonna see it next week. There was this big argument in Mexico, and again Jasmine is yelling out at Zack, what about me, and it's just like this whole season it's been two things: Lala being a spokesperson for Janet because Janet got embarrassed at the reunion, just like Lala got embarrassed at her last reunion on VPR, and the second part here is the what about me syndrome with Brittany and Jasmine. It's what about me? Everything is what about me. For the fact that Brittany would literally look in Chris's eyes and question her loyalty as a friend. Not only that, but to say that Nia was only there for Kristen pregnancy when the cameras are on or on social media, and still going with this performative narrative. I shared a little clip of that on TikTok last week, and it went a little bit viral, but seeing the full actual conversation on the episode this week just set me off in the wrong way. And like, come on, man. You don't do that. You don't get so defensive as Zack saying that you don't like Nia, and then you have that conversation with Kristen, and you're still trying to convince us that you don't have a mean bone in your body. You have there's no issues between you and Nia. You have an issue with her. Just be upfront with it. Just say you don't like her. Just say that. I mean, you already have Lala and Janet in your ear. You're already on the mean girl side. Just own up to it. Like, I would appreciate just Brittany being, this is gonna upset her because this is the main talking point she has against Nia, right? That she's not being authentic in front of the camera. She's not being transparent. Well, guess what, Brittany? Neither are you. Because if that was the case, you would just be up front and not have Lala and Michelle and Janet confront fucking Nia in a 4-on-1 attack at Schwartz's house on last week's episode. If it's this big of an issue that you have with Nia personally because of what happened in Santa Barbara last season, you should have had a one-on-one conversation with her and expressed your feelings. Not this backhanded bullshit, talking behind their back. Oh, I think she's a performative, and that breaks my heart. That breaks my heart, you know. Nia's so performative, and it just bothers me so much. You know, me and you and Kristen known each other for so long. Like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? And I hope with this reunion, because obviously it's going to be a while before we see this, that this is addressed, because it has to. You literally are looking at Kristen's eyes, one of the most authentic people on this entire cast, and literally said that Nia was only there and questioning. You said that they have a surface level friendship and that she was only there for Kristen when the cameras are on. Are you fucking kidding me? Come on. Like, what are we doing, man? So, it wasn't just that. We got, you know, Schwartzapalooza was the theme for Schwartz's birthday. They had this idea for a trip down to Mexico because Schwartz, Danny, and Zack all have birthdays in a 5-day span between each other. So we got a Libra trio. So we got a lot to break down in this week's episode of the SUR Files and this week's episode of The Valley. That's my initial thoughts as we kick things off here. Let's just say my takeaway from this week's episode of The Valley, before we get this going, is that Brittany is being Jax this season. Not by Jax, by herself. And the SUR Files starts right now. Are you guys all right? And everything's all right. Everything's all right. Oh man, everything is not all right. While I was on the topic of this Brittany and Kristen conversation and the Brittany and Nia drama, yet Brittany likes to say that she doesn't have a mean bone in her body. Let's have the cattiness again of a Valley after show clips here, because here on the SUR Files, we like to hold people accountable, and context does matter. So while Lala and Brittany and Janet and Michelle say in a straight face at the reunion that they have no issues and they don't gossip and they're not mean girls, let's play this from this week's edition of the Valley After Show.
Valley After Show starts right now. Kristen is my ride or die. I know that too. I trust Kristen with my life.
I know that, but Brittany, there were numerous occasions where when push was coming to shove, you were on the receiving end.
Yeah.
To you, like I am sorry that I'm not showing how I want to.
Thank you.
And we'll work on being better at that because I do care about you deeply. And
all right, sorry,
What's
just heard what's
happening?
happening. Oh,
You
it's tried to go above and beyond.
Who the is coming up the stairs? It was like she was a stomping, and I was like, "Move out of the way, part the seas."
You could have texted anything. You could have texted Janet. Any of you that are friends with Janet in that group chat. Hold on, where has I'm tired of people who left me up?
In she comes. Come to go see Kristen.
It was clear when she came up the stairs, she thought that I was like, had Nia hogtied and was like waterboarding her.
It was Luke and Joshie being like, Nia was being bullied, so I went to stop the bullying.
Thank you.
And I have no regrets about it at all. And then they were all like, what do you mean? Oh my god, no, everything's so fine and chill. I felt like Nia's truth was somewhere in the middle of that.
Mm-hmm. I think that she thinks that she has to defend them for some reason. I'm not sure why. I would like to say it's because they were going through postpartum and stuff together, but it was like this last season too. They weren't even pregnant at that time, so, you know, I'm not really sure what it is.
I think that the two of you have what's almost like an unconditional love.
Yeah.
And if she comes for you, she knows you guys will always work it out.
You came up and you were ready to like so defend Nia. I guess it just hurts my feelings because I felt like that for a while. Like when it comes to Nia, I'm not allowed to have an opinion or say anything.
You absolutely are.
One wrong move with Nia, and she has shown that the guard is up and you're now on the receiving end of this. I think she definitely blindly supports them.
I'm sure. Fine. Yeah. I do have blind loyalty to the people that I hold nearest and dearest to me.
I do think that there's a blind loyalty with Danny and Nia, but it's also like a blind hate for me. It's like if something's going wrong, it's definitely Janet's fault.
When someone wants me to be their pit bull, they're very happy about it. But when it does not benefit them, suddenly it's an issue. When I've been the person that fights for them, they have no problem with Kristen inserting herself. And that includes every single person that was on the rooftop that night.
I would like to know what she was my pit bull over, because I don't think that I had people that she had to like attack for me.
I can name plenty of times when we were friends. Janet and I were in a friend group, 4 girls who hung out. We had like friendship rings, pinky rings we all wore. And if Janet felt misunderstood, I would defend her. Very much so. Never make that mistake again.
I just wish that she was a pit bull for principle instead of people. Like, be the person who's on the side of right and wrong, not, oh, this person is my friend so they can do no wrong, and you're my enemy so you can do no right.
If Nia had said to me in that moment, like, no, Kristen, blah, 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 then I would have been like, okay, my bad, sorry, I'm gonna excuse myself. But yeah, fine. I have a blind loyalty, sure. Zack, Nia, Brittany, Luke, you're absolutely right.
Her loyalty to Danny and Nia has actually, I think, really influenced my loyalty to Danny and Nia because I see the wrongs that have been done and I want to now stand up for those wrongs.
Appreciate that. Appreciate you.
Lala the Instigator. What else is new? We're gonna get into some stuff with her next week because they had this big blowout in Mexico for next week's episode, and we're gonna get to that because Lala, like, again, I just think this whole season her sole purpose was there is like, okay, Janet got eviscerated at the reunion, so here's her buddy to do her dirty work for her and try to make Janet save face. Yeah, Danny didn't do himself any favors this season with how he conducted himself, and I've been consistently saying here on the show that his behavior this season has been unacceptable. But putting Danny to the side, the way that Lala and Michelle and Janet and Brittany have been treating Nia this season is bullshit. It is Mean Girls, whether they want to deny that or not. You guys decide to deflect your anger at Danny, at Nia, just because she's doing anything any of you four would done for your own partners. Lala, if she had a man, she would be defending him. If Michelle brought Dr. Dre on the fucking show, she would be defending him. If they were calling out him for his actions, God knows that Dr. Dre is no freaking saint. Like, am I being too honest here, guys? Let's say like we know that for sure Janet would defend somebody for Jason. Look how much Brittany was defending Jax and all those reunions over the years. You guys remember that Zoom reunion that they had on Vanderpump Rules where Jack was basically poking holes at Ariana for being bi and trying to defame Sandoval's character because God forbid Tom Sandoval stood up for his girlfriend and asked legitimate questions about what's going on with the pastor. But no, Jax had to be the freaking diva of the entire show, and he took the role of bridesmaid because everything is about Jax, everything's about Brittany and their special wedding, and it comes back full circle again because guess what? Jax is out of the picture, but still Brittany's me this, me that, me this, me that. So like nobody in this cast has a leg to stand on when it comes to these arguments because okay, you're gonna knock down Nia's character and say she's performing just because she's defending her husband and they handled their situations different than everybody else in the cast. But again, you guys are doing the same thing. And for Lala to produce her own storyline, just off the gag, because she has nothing interesting to bring to the table besides defending Janet, it's really telling, because that's unfortunate, because a lot of people wanted to see what's going on with Lala in her personal life after she got herself embarrassed at that Vanderpump Rules season 11 reunion. And here she is, and all she's done, well, why didn't you add Janet to the meal train? Janet this, Janet that. I think Nia this, Nia that. And then when she confronts Nia next week's episode, and then she's having that conversation, oh, Nia bowed up like she was a linebacker. Yeah, no shit, because she's not going to be kowtowing to you like Rachel did. You think you're going to just steamroll her because she was in a pageant and she was a model? Nia has a backbone. Let's continue on here. In this episode, it had everything. We had Schwartz celebrating a birthday. We had a lot of rain in the background. Zack, Jasmine had, they went to this place to get butt facials. Little funny get-together scenes with Danny and Nia with their family, acting silly, making breakfast and stuff. I thought that was a cute scene. A big part of this episode this week was the Kristen and Luke dynamic, and I mentioned it on the TikTok initial recaps that I do on the TikTok page at SUR Files. Each week I do like a short little preview review of the episodes, especially right after they go off the air. So I did that on Wednesday, and when I watched the episode back and I watched the review back, I was like saying in that review, like I had the feeling that this episode was going to go one direction, and I thought it was going to be again just this whole Danny, Nia, Lala, Janet drama, but it went completely the other way. Like the theme of this episode was Kristen and Luke getting into another slew of arguments. They had a very unfortunate situation at the airport where Kristen was in the bathroom changing Kaya's diapers. That's their daughter. And they're in a public setting, and fans are trying to take pictures and stuff. And Kristen has had a long history of anxiety and travel woes and travel anxiety. And it all flared up, and now it goes back to the postpartum stuff, and Luke is having it up to here. He's telling Danny and Jesse that this behavior continues, or she continues to lash out at him for no reason just because she's having postpartum. He's like, there's not going to be a wedding, and he's like, again, I don't want to be hard on Brittany so much on this episode, but again, even towards the end of this week's episode, she's like, well, I'm just here from my best friend's perspective. You should give her grace. Yeah, I think, as Luke said, he's been giving her grace the entire season, and there's also stuff that we don't see that's on or off camera. We don't know how they're talking to each other. And again, as I said in the review on TikTok, like, I have no kids. I'm not married. I don't know what it's like to go through that postpartum situation. And I have empathy for any woman that goes through that. Obviously, I do. A lot of this is just a breakdown in communication. And obviously, Kristen is holding on to this postpartum thing as I want to say she's holding it as a crutch, because that's not the way to frame it. But, Luke has said it on this episode, especially, where it's just like, there's so much days that you could take as a person, whether that was intentional or not, and then the next day is like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. Like, it's a pattern that develops, and we're all human, and we're not perfect, and we all take things in differently. And yeah, there is an age difference between the two, but that doesn't change the fact that there is kind of a lack of respect going on, and I don't know if that's just a track record of her past relationships, where she just can't seem to see that Luke is way different than Carter and any of other Chris's exes, and like I want to give Luke some grace here because I was critical with him being a super thirsty for sex and stuff in the early parts of the season, but anybody saying that he's not a good father or anything like that, and the way Kristen framed that during some of those conversations, especially when they got to Mexico, like I could understand why he was upset. I could definitely understand why he was upset. There's only so much barbs you can take verbally, for you gotta start standing up for yourself. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's just a communication with me. I rather have honest and upfront conversation instead of you deflecting and throwing jabs at me over something that you're just unwilling to talk about. So you're gonna just throw a bunch of insults my way with no context or purpose behind it. That's not solving anything. So it sucks. I hate seeing Kristen cry like that on the episode, and she was just breaking down, and she was frustrated because Kyle was crying the entire time, and it's all a crazy situation, but it just sucks. Like, it sucks for both of them. I want to give Luke some grace here on the podcast this week because I think he deserves it too. Like, there has to be a modicum of respect here. Like, you just don't talk down to your partner like that. I don't care if you're depressed or whatever the situation's going on. You just don't do that. And for her to say that he's not a good father or even insinuating that, it's not cool. It's not. And yes, Kristen has admitted over the years that she has a bad way with words and stuff like that. And there was another part on this episode that I don't know. I don't know if this was just a way of like producers just like, oh hey, let's have a funny interaction with Janet and Zack. We have all these thunderstorms going on during Schwartz party, and I think during the episode Schwartz said that that he would be a +1 with Benji and Zack if he ever float that way. I think Janet said that Michelle would be her Hoff pass, but this got going on here with this episode, and they talked a little bit about it after the show. Let's play it here.
Janet does tell you, Zack, that she's allowed to hook up with women when she's traveling.
Wait, what?
I don't believe that.
Like, obviously I'm bisexual, so technically when I'm not with Jason's, like, I don't care if you hook up with girls.
That's definitely not true. And here's the thing. When we were dating, I said something more like that, but it's like, okay, if Jenna were to hook up with a guy, that's pretty much like probably going to go toward eventually the demise of a relationship. If she's like, oh, me and Lala made out,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? That's fine. If she were like, oh, I've been going on a couple dates with this woman, you're like, no, you're not going on dates with this woman.
With her.
Yeah, because like, I could just as easily lose her to a woman as a man. I don't think she gets exactly what I meant.
I think I got it wrong at that time too. I think I said, like, Jason wouldn't care if I was with a girl. I think he would care if I was with anybody.
Oh wait, Janet mishearing a conversation? Oh, that's so rare.
So let's be clear, there's no like rule in place that I'm allowed to like be with women. I think it was more like, oh, if like you and Michelle had too many margaritas and like made out for a second in Mexico, like
She just wants to make out.
she is my dream girl.
So there's no plans for a throuple with you guys and Michelle?
To be honest, like, even a threesome, like, you know, it sounds like it'd be awesome for like that time. I feel like that can complicate things too. It's just, we have a good thing going. So we don't want to rock the boat.
Totally.
And what if I can't perform? It's just a lot of stress. You know,
I have no desire to have a threesome at this point.
But that'll work for us.
Sounds stressful.
So then no threesome with Michelle.
As Michelle said, she's interested in this? Is that what you're asking me?
Next trip. She probably says that to people. Like, Jason doesn't care. Jason doesn't care. He'll go to girl.
Yeah. Did you fart?
Wait, what?
Mm-hmm. All right, so that's I just thought that conversation was weird, honestly. You know, I was watching it back. You know, watching this episode, one of the other things that stood out to me was the guys are, you know, talking with each other, and two things. First off, Michelle, just stop. We get it. You don't like Jesse. he had a situation where one of his credit cards were declined while they're getting their room keys and stuff after they landed in Mexico. So it's like this. It's like the most giddiest she's ever been this whole season. It's like a kid going to a candy store, like how excited she was for his credit card to be denied. Like, it's just not a good look. Like, I get it. You guys had a toxic falling out with your relationship and everything. But if your main thing is like, hey, my whole storyline this year is dunking on the father of my child while you're, shacking it up with Dr. Dre. I mean, it's just not a good look. I'm just keeping it 100, man. It's just not a good look at all. So, yeah, it's just, I don't know. That part of the show, I did not like that. But again, it's just the catty, mean girl stuff. Here comes Lala. We could be mean girls. Yay! And then Schwartz had to deal with the mean girls on the ride towards the hotel. They're not going after, but they're like, oh, hey, Schwartz, is your new girlfriend developed her frontal lobe yet? And he got, he didn't get upset initially there, but he said to the guys that bothered him. And I can understand that too. That's just an unwarranted comment. That's just not necessary. So, I want to go back to the Kristen and Luke stuff because this is important. And again, we want to hear from the cast itself. I can only share my appearance here and there. But let's hear from the cast to talk about this whole situation. Do you feel like Kristen was too hard on Luke during this situation at this trip? Mind you, Kristen did bring her sister and her brother-in-law to Mexico to watch Kaya. So this is kind of bringing back some vibes of what happened in San Diego, where Danny and Nia had their sitter there. But again, it still wasn't enough. Let's play this. This is interesting.
Anxiety, whatever it is. I don't know. I don't want to trigger Kristen. I love her. This was just a heightened time, with postpartum, with the travel. There was just a whole lot. She was spinning a lot of plates. It's like, just cool off and chill out here. I'm not trying to pressure you to stay out with me either.
Oh, I'm sure in your perfect world, I would just stay here with Kaya and you could go out with your friends.
Why are you coming at me like that either?
It's okay.
I'm not saying that. I think it goes that way in a lot of relationships, that I was the receiver of her release. But it's the comments like you care more about A, B, C, D, E, F, G than your daughter that hurt.
Kristen definitely says to everyone that Luke is a great father, but I could definitely see Kristen getting mad, maybe saying some Kristen-y things. I mean, let's be real, it's still Kristen.
How do I not defend myself when you tell me I want to party more than I care about her and Kaya? Those are the things she says to me.
But she doesn't mean that. She knows that Luke is a great dad.
I would never, ever use the words, you're a bad dad or you're not a good dad. It would be like, why do you choose this over Kaya? It's just like the choice of words.
That, to me, is saying I'm a bad dad. That's a message that I'm receiving.
There's such thing as postpartum anxiety, and it's like these things that are kind of normal. Yeah.
Big giant neon sign above my head with arrows.
It's so normal to experience it, but I feel like other people that are not experiencing it themselves might be like, what's going on? Why are you overthinking or overreacting or over stressing?
Yeah. They should have had that conversation before coming to Mexico, like, this is what it's going to look like. But I think maybe they did have that, and then Kristen started feeling these feelings and emotions for Kaya. She's here. I want to be with her. It looks like we went through this already.
But also then let Luke party. I'm sorry, like that does annoy me. It's like one of the very few things that Kristen and I disagree on.
My intentions were to have normalcy. That's why my sister and my brother-in-law were there. Because in my mind, even like going on the flight, I'm like, this is going to be so great. Like, they have kids, they have grandkids, like, this is going to be a cakewalk. And it just wasn't.
No one can prepare you how the household shifts when the baby comes home. Crying babies, you're f***ing exhausted. No, you're not having sex anymore. And as much as I want to say, like, yeah, he deserves to be seen as, like, a new dad.
She's going through so much more. Like, I'm just, like, I can't even express the fact that stuff she says affects me.
You are on the back burner right now.
Yeah.
You want to talk to someone? Go talk to your boys. You guys can all kiki about how hard it is being new dads. Find a therapist. And when Kristen or any woman
is in a place where we're not so emotionally out of whack, then we can talk about seeing each other again.
Yeah.
It's a lot of physical and emotional toll on the woman who's giving birth. I'm not a strong enough person to do what they do. But it's a lot of physical and emotional toll on the man too. Like, you don't talk about that much, but it is. It's like, it's a toll on the man because you're like number 3, you know, like in terms of like who you take care of. Mm-hmm. Like when your plane's going down, it's like you're supposed to put your own mask on, but like when you're the man in a relationship and your wife gives birth, it's like, no, first wife and baby, then I don't even get a mask because there's only 2. You know, so it can be, I can see how it can be stressful. I can see how it can be tough.
Then you're told, why don't you have one? Go find one. We need you.
Mine feels like Kaya gets mine, and then she gets my backup one in case something happens to hers, and then Luke and I die.
Stop it.
Or hopefully we don't, but like we have to
But
figure
you're
out.
struggling for some breath.
Yeah, we're struggling.
And it is one of those things that's like, to be your best self, you have to take care of yourself. Be the best partner in a relationship. Be the best dad. You still have to have your time, your space.
Yeah.
And a partner that respects that. And it's not just men, it's for the moms too. Like Kristen needed that first night out. She really needed to take care of herself versus putting Kaya before herself all the time. I'm still learning and things are improving. Initially, I thought she was just angry at me because I had to use the restroom. But truth be told, she was changing Kaya's diaper and there were a lot of fans in the restroom.
I think the way she described it was like fans saw her in the bathroom and wanted to take selfies while Kaya was like on the changing table.
What am I supposed to do? People are taking photos of me and my daughter in a public bathroom. I'm trying to teach her, she's screaming.
Should have had security.
It's traumatizing.
That was disgusting that they thought that that was appropriate.
I feel like I was very like out of body in that moment. I feel like it was someone like recording me, or they were like holding up their phone like at Kai while I'm changing. They were like, "Oh, do you need help?" Like, and I was like, "No, like I'm good, thank you." And then it was just like this, and I'm like, "Oh my god, are you f***ing kidding me right now?"
Yeah.
And I just was like, just like crying.
I always say, if you see me out, come up to me. Even if I don't have a spray tan, I'll still let you take a photo. But like, you gotta wait till we're out of the bathroom. Like, that's
crazy.
Hormones are crazy. You travel to Mexico and someone's snapping pictures of you. Like, I can put myself in her shoes. That might make me snap too.
Honestly, I think she's handling it quite nicely.
Yeah.
Because if I were in the same position, I don't know that I would be melting down with my friends.
Thank God Kai wasn't old enough to like feel or like notice that. Because if that were to happen now, I mean, I would handle it. Well, I don't know if I'd handle it differently. I'd probably just cry.
That was the moment I wish I was there and I could have been like a pit bull for you.
It was definitely a learning thing. Like in a vulnerable moment, I probably wouldn't go in the bathroom by myself with her again. I have done it, of course, since because we travel with her. And I'm not going to be like, "Look, will you come to the women's bathroom with me?" And like keep an eye while I change her. And I change her a lot in the car now, honestly. Like we could pull up to a public place, and I'm like, I'll just stand outside the car and do it. I'd rather just not.
Yeah.
I don't want to go through that again.
I'm so sorry you experienced that.
Yeah. It was gnarly.
Yeah, guys, we gotta have some grounds to have like some self-awareness, man. Like it's just, it's not cool at all. When you look at this episode of The Valley, like I said on the TikTok video, I just felt like this is one of those where you need like a second watch to like fully grasp and take it in. And that's what was the fun part about doing this last night, and then also doing this is recording the podcast and listening to the after show. You're getting context for the cast. It's just like this episode, I thought it was good. And again, as I've been saying all season, I give Kristen and Luke so much credit for how raw and vulnerable they've been with the nature of the conversations that they had with the show. It's been uncomfortable to watch at times, but it's also a learning experience for myself, especially as a young guy who is not married, who doesn't have any kids. The day I ever get married and have a kid, I would hope like I could have that dynamic with my wife where, you know, we're there for each other and we're lifting each other up, when should be the most exciting part of the relationship, where you're bringing a child into the world. And then, you know, learning about postpartum depression and anxiety is not easy. I guess a lot of this stuff is not linear. I guess you can't put a timetable when women can be up in their feels and stuff and acting out of pocket just because they're dealing with postpartum depression. That stuff's not linear, and like it sucks. So I understand where Luke's coming from in certain situations. I don't think he handled himself the best in the early stages part of the season, but two things could, it's always a two-sided story here, and hopefully there's some resolution between the two during next week's episode. And this is just a bad night for the both of them. But, this is also real life. And this is one of the reasons why I enjoy The Valley. And this is one of my favorite shows that I watch, because it is uncomfortable and dark conversations and, stuff that happens in real life. And it's a great learning experience. So that's kind of the takeaway that I had from coming out of this episode. That was just, I felt it was good because we did get some level of uncomfortableness, and we had real life depicted on the screen, and it's there for everybody to see. It went completely 180 from what I originally thought this episode was going to be, but that's going to be happening on next week's episode. They just finished filming the reunion for season 3 yesterday. We'll see what happens whenever that trailer comes out. I'm excited to see that, but it should be good. But we got 2 more episodes left for this season of The Valley. And as I said here on the podcast, we are going to cover House of Stassi. So if you guys are wondering, I will watch it. And it's going to be a little different because with House of Stassi, with Hulu, they drop all the episodes at the same time. So it's going to be a little different. Like, it's going to be a little different of a setup here. I'm going to do it in separate episodes. Like, I'm not going to be, it's going to be hard to do one podcast on how many ever episodes are going to be with House of Stassi. So you guys are going to have to bear with me. I know this is going to be some episodes where it's out of date, but I want to do it one by one like I do with The Valley here, or like I'll do with the rebooted Vanderpump Returns again for season 13 and stuff like that, and then The Valley season 4. So if you guys can bear with me, we are going to do House of Stassi, but it's also going to be the same way we do it here with The Valley. It's going to be one review for each week. I'm not going to be doing multiple episodes for each podcast. I just can't do it. I don't have the time for it. But on that note, we're going to put a ribbon on the bow on this week's edition of the SUR Files. I want to say thank you all for hanging out with me today. As always, I love each and every single one of you. As always, folks, remember, be the authentic product that is yourself. Remember, nobody dictates and pays to your life but yourself and the man upstairs. Hit us up on TikTok at SUR Files, YouTube at the SUR Files. We're on the road to 100 subscribers. Appreciate everybody that was subscribing over the weekend. I did see the likes. Make sure to hit that like button too, and comment down below. Let me know how you guys felt about this week's episode of The Valley and just your thoughts of the season as a whole. I'd love to hear from you guys. As always, you can hit me up on X at the Hoots Podcast, Instagram at Joshie Lopez Music. And have a wonderful weekend, everybody. We got a couple more episodes left for the season, and then the reunion is going to be here before you know it. And again, thank you all for rocking with me. This has been episode 13 of the SUR Files, and we'll check y'all next week. Love y'all. Peace.